When I lost my sight at age 12, I lost my sight by being hit with a baseball. I thought my life was over. The image of a blind person that I had was someone standing on a corner with a tin cup and a cane begging. And I knew that I would never, never want to do that.
Ed is truly an inspiration.
He has such a great story. His message was very well sent.
In my life, I've been touched by many Hall of Famers. I would like to share some of these stories with you today.
Ed is a very engaging speaker. He's energetic, but most of all, he's funny.
My parents made many sacrifices, working many jobs. My mother was a professional boxer. She boxed oranges, apples, and potatoes for the A&P. My father and I came home from shopping, and we met a nun. The nun suggested that my father send me to St. Joseph's School for the Blind in Jersey City. It was a residential school. We stayed from Sunday night to Friday afternoon. I was walking with my hands out to make sure I didn't walk into a wall or walk into anyone. And Sister Anthony Marie, who was, if she was 5 feet tall, she was big, she banged my arm down and said, "Eddie Lucas, we walk with our hands at our sides at all times." I said, "But sister, I can't see where I'm going, I'm blind." She said, "Isn't that a shame? We're all in the same boat here. So pick up your oar and start rowing." Then one Friday afternoon, my father came to pick me up, and there was snow on the ground like there is today. And he said to me, "Ed, I have your galoshes. Stand up against the wall and I'll put them on." I put my foot out. My father pushed. I was pushing. All of a sudden, Sister Rose Magdalene walked off the elevator. She yelled, "Mr. Lucas, what are you doing?" "Oh, sister, it's snowing outside. And I don't know if you know it, but I have to put Ed's galoshes on." She said, "Really?" She said, "Let me help you." She went over, gave him an elbow, pushed him back, pulled the galoshes off, and said, "He's only blind. He's not handicapped. And when he puts them on, you can leave." An hour and a half later, we left.
You know, I was very pleasantly surprised. Now, you don't picture somebody getting up there and you're kind of like, okay, what's going on here? And, you know, just the story of how, you know, you can overcome such adversity. And, you know, as I said, I was speechless.
Leo DeRocha. My mother wrote a letter to him. DeRocha, he was the manager of the New York Giants. She wrote to him and said, "I would like you to send an autograph or something. My son is very depressed," and told him about the accident. He wrote a letter back and said, "Come over to the Polo Grounds." And I went over to the Polo Grounds and went into his office, sat in his swivel chair. When he came in, I was introduced to him. And I said, "Mr. DeRocha, will I be going out on the field to meet some of the Giants?" And he said, "No, sir." My heart dropped. He said, "You're my guest. And if they want to meet you, they better come in here. And if they don't, they'll be in a lot of trouble." Greatest thrill of my young life. Something that I wanted to do, I thought, be a sports writer. I asked all these guys questions. Then my mother read in the paper that Phil Rizzuto was working in the American shops in Newark. We went out there, and after asking the scooter a lot of questions and talking to him, he took an interest in me right away. And he said, "How about if I give you my phone number and you call me up?" He said, "By the way, would you give me your phone number or is it unlisted?" It was a lifelong friendship. He was a mentor. He encouraged me, and he helped me to pursue my dream. He was always there for me. Taking time out of your busy life to make someone feel special and giving them encouragement, that's a Hall of Famer.
His story of courage, what his parents did for him, the sacrifices that they made, it was truly, truly inspirational.
And I enrolled at Seton Hall University to study communication arts. I wanted to go into radio, television, broadcasting, and newspapers. I went for a seeing eye dog so I could commute every day by 3 buses to Seton Hall. My dog, Kay, she was the first female to go to class At that time, Seton Hall was an old male school. My dog, Kay, was a Hall of Fame dog. Going to Seton Hall, she became smart. She could read signs. She saw the sign, wet paint, and she did.
He's learned how to turn those tears to laughter. And that's the great thing about Ed, is that he's able to bring out all those emotions in us.
I started my career as a sports writer. At first, it was tough. Many writers talked about, what's this blind guy doing here? He shouldn't be here. He can't see the game. How can he write about it? He's a token handicapped guy taking up space in the clubhouse, taking up space in the press box. I became so down about it. I went to Rizzuto and I said, Scooter, I don't know if I can do this or not. Please. The way they're talking about me, he said, listen, what I told you years ago, and I'll tell you now, you can't give up. He said, I was told I was too small to play baseball. I didn't listen to those naysayers. And you're not going to listen to them either. Remember, you're going to make it. You can't give up.
He touches you. I mean, I'm 43 years old, and I had to choke back a few tears a few times.
Luckily, other writers, they were there. They encouraged me. I covered the great teams of the 1970s, the great Yankee teams of the 1970s, known as the Bronx Zoo. Billy Martin was the manager. Yogi Berra was a coach. Goose Gossage, Reggie Jackson. I won their confidence and respect, and they became one of my friends, and I became one of their boys. They would kid around with me. Yogi heard me talking about, someone gave me a pair of golf clubs, and he said, hey, you play golf? I said, I'm learning. He said, hey, I would like to play you. I said, where can we play, Yog? He said, how about play at my country club, in the Montclair Country Club? He said, what tea time you want? I said, how about Tuesday night at midnight? He said, I wouldn't be able to see. I said, that'll make us even. I never go to the ball games by myself. I went with my boy's pediatrician, Dr. Frank Cardiello from Jersey City. We walked through the door in the old Yankee Stadium, walking in, and who's coming out but Goose Gossage? Goose says, who's this character, Eddie? Every day you're coming here with somebody new. I thought quick, I said, well, this is Dr. Frank Cardiello. He's my eye doctor. He said, oh, doctor. He said, you did a great job, even out Eddie's eyes. Reggie Jackson was standing there, and he said, you shouldn't say that about Ed. Goose, that's not nice. I said, Reggie, I'm more fortunate than you think I am. He said, what do you mean? I said, I don't have to look at the goose. The goose said, you are really fortunate. Yogi's coming out of the shower and doesn't have a towel on.
I found his humor was the most inspiring for me.
A man who should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame, but certainly is in Life's Hall of Fame, the boss, George M. Steinbrenner. I requested to be married at home plate to my bride Allison on March 10th, 2006. He gave his blessing, his personal blessing. We were the only couple ever to be married at home plate at Yankee Stadium. And he also paid for the entire wedding. I gave him checks and he gave them back. He said, that's my gift to you. I have been touched by many Hall of Famers in my life. And I challenge you today to be a Hall of Famer. Make a difference in someone's life. Give a helping hand, whether it be as a parent, educator, employer, or friend. Be the light in someone's eyes when you make them smile. Be a shoulder to cry on, an ear to listen, and the arms that reach out to lift others up. Do all of these things, and when your last inning comes and the final votes are counted, you'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Thank you very much.
If you can't get inspired by his story, you just have no heart in your body, because he is so inspirational, very articulate, and very funny. I mean, it was a grand slam.
I've never seen Ed speak before, and I was touched. I was really touched. I wanted to go up and give him a hug after I listened to that.
You leave with such power. If I'm going to complain about something, I have to think about, you know what, that's not really worth complaining about anymore.
The man is just an amazing speaker. I would recommend him to anyone that wants to hear a story about someone that's overcome challenges in their lives.
I'd go pay to see him, hear him talk anytime. I really would.